What's up, everyone? Sirasonilynx back here to give you guys another tutorial, for free. All that good stuff, free is the best stuff. Yeah, I don't give a shit what whatever. Anyways, today, today's topic is like what I promised, blur and pluck. All right, blur and pluck. So it's gonna be a short and sweet one, but it's gonna be a little difficult to understand at times, to wrap your head around it. So I'll explain it the best way I can. So let's go back to default. Let's start with the pluck. The pluck basically it simulates the string pluck. So basically it's like a type of filter that just cuts across it like this. And with you guys might be wondering, with normal filters with this, you could do also the same thing. If you automate this, it's basically the same thing. You guys could edit articulator and then actually draw it in, you know. And you guys might be like, oh, it's the same thing. Why do you need a separate parameter for it? Well, this pluck knob actually does more than that. What you can do is, if you guys go into here and you guys click on pluck shape, you can't go in from the articulator here, because if you do this, it goes to pluck amount, which is just automating how much the pluck knob is moving up and down. Yeah, so that doesn't really do much. But if you go to pluck shape, you could change the way the filter or the pluck shape is added to this. So by default, this is the lowest frequency, this is the highest frequency. So the higher frequencies, they're basically plucking away at a faster rate, as you guys could see. The lower frequencies ring out, but you can make it the opposite. You could go like this, and then the opposite happens. The higher frequencies ring out more, and then you could make weird shapes, and you guys can see what happens. All right, and then they're over moving on to the blur section. We see the mix knob, 0 to 100% mix of blur. Blur is basically a thing for additive synthesis or resynthesis, to give a certain kind of attack and decay to whatever the samples that you process. For generally the waveforms, you won't need to use the blur, so for the most part you won't have to. But if you drag an image into here, for resynthesis purposes, then this will at times come in pretty useful. There's not many times that you actually end up using it, but there are some times. So here we have the attack time. If I put it all the way up, attacks in, right? And then the decay, just put it up all the way like this. You can't really hear any difference, because the way this one works is like additive synthesis. It's a way where the overtones or the partials, right? And they're basically one by one individually, they're like ringing out to certain parameters, or they're being reinforced, or they're being made stronger. So the saw wave has all the partials, right? All the overtones, and it's ringing out at the same time. So changing this won't change anything. But if you go to let's try to get a shape that's special. And then mix, change the timbre window. If I just have this off, it changes just directly, right? Like it just cut right over here. You guys can see it in the graph. But if I have the decay up a little bit, you can see that the fade out is smoother. And if I have it all the way up, you really can't hear a difference, because it takes so long to blur out each time. That's what the decay does. The harmonic blur amount, this basically reinforces which of the overtones you want, you know, and generally they have low and then high over here, which high and then low, I mean. And it's basically, you know, they say top tension, bottom tension is basically another word for higher frequencies of the overtones and lower frequencies. So if I have this all the way on, the special thing to note here is these two buttons work the opposite of each other. So for example, just because it says 0 and 100% for both doesn't mean it's 0 and 100% for both. On the bottom tension, 0 means 0. So at 0, it's going to be nothing. And then the more you put it up, it's going to reinforce those overtones. For the top one, though, the 100% is at 0. So at 100% it's reinforcing nothing. And then at 0 is reinforcing everything. Just, you know, a small thing to note. They should have made it more clear here. Maybe they got lazy in the end, who knows. And then finally we got this blur button right over here. As you guys could see, if I switch this on, see that the decay time, it switches off. You guys can see that. And basically when I do this, it switches away with the decay time instead of doing it with the knob. And the good thing about this is that, for example, in the blur, we have underneath the hood, we have the blur, the blur local mask, right? And we could draw in a shape that, you know, we want the blur to be. Alright, so we could draw in a shape that we want the blur to be, going to the blur local mask. And what this is basically saying is that right now, the lower frequencies is the same as the Pluck shape. The lower frequencies are ringing out and the higher frequencies are cut. Let me actually make this the opposite. So you guys can see it better. See, those ones are the ones that are being changed. Right? So these ones are the ones being changed. If you switch this on, what happens is the blur local mask becomes the local mask for only the attack, not the decay time. And the Pluck shape and the knob right over here becomes the sort of local mask for the decay itself. So you have two separate envelopes to control with. That's the difference. That took me a long ass time to figure out. I was like, what the? But yeah, anyways. So you go to Pluck shape, and then you can make it when you turn the switch on, by the way, this is 0 and this is 100%, okay? So which means the Pluck shape is going to be on like this. Let's switch it to the opposite, actually. So you guys could hear the difference right there. So this becomes sort of like the decay knob for here. So I hope you guys got something out today. Next one's going to be phaser and prism. Alright, so wait up for that. Probably going to be released this Sunday. So peace out. 8 Town. Bow!